another case of the week. Gee, Dan, it feels like we never left.
I'm happy to be here once again.
Today we're going to talk about a case that Dan recently had, and it's a mechanic with malevolent intent named Mac McIntosh. It's a lot of M words.
There were some other ones that we wanted to use, but we were not allowed to do that in court. Mr. McIntosh, this is a case that came up as a private complaint, where a citizen makes a complaint to the police department. And what had happened in this case, it was April of 2010 when this elderly couple, I never did ask them their age, but I estimate them to be in their 80s, took their car, a Delta 88, for those of you who may be automobile enthusiasts. They took it to a local mechanic. And what I mean by that is it was a national chain, but it's locally owned. And Mr. McIntosh was a mechanic at this place. He took their car, told them he would fix it for $3,000, and over the next several months, he kept asking them for more money for bills and fees and parts and labor, and he took them for over $14,000.
Wow.
And the last straw was that he told them the car had been impounded, and he needed $400 more to get it out of impound. One wonders how it could be impounded if it's supposed to be in their shop. They gave him the money. They never saw the car again. We still don't know where the car is.
And how much money did they get?
It was over $14,000.
For a Delta 88.
That's what it was.
I don't think it's worth that much.
Maybe it was an antique. We
Maybe
don't know
so.
because we never saw it.
We never saw it.
So the victims came and they made a police report. They kept track of everything that they sent him. There's a copy of the document that they used to keep track of this 14 grand they sent this thief. And because it's a nonviolent property crime, he wasn't arrested. They gave him a summons and told him to come to court. And so he came to court, I believe it was in May of 2012. And the case came through the system. In spite of the fact that he had access to $14,000, he was granted a public defender by our courts. And then in October of 2012, he decided not to come back to court. And so I indicted him for bail jumping. I came to find out that he got some new charges, some felony theft charges in Grant County that were more or less at the same time while he was waiting trial on our charge. So that case was resolved. He was given a 4-year sentence, put on probation. He came back to Fayette County and eventually pled guilty to theft by failure to make required disposition and bail jumping. And our court sentenced him to prison for 6 years. We looked at his criminal history, which is significant for a lot of theft by deception cases. Typically those are bad checks or other thefts. Failure to make disposition. He gave a peace officer a false name. He's got some public intoxication, some other things on his record. I remember this sentencing case very well because it was just last week, and the victims came to court. And they sat there in the courtroom for probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours, until our case was called. They wrote the judge letters and explained how disappointed they were that the system allows these sorts of things to happen, and that Mr. McIntosh had stolen almost $15,000 from them. And so our judge sent him to prison. So the good news is that he's in custody now, and he'll be serving some time. We asked for restitution to be set. I don't think he's really going to ever make $14,000 in restitution, although his attorney will argue that he needs to have the opportunity to do that when he sees the parole board, which unfortunately will be this November. So he'll be eligible for parole in about 6 months.
So he managed to get away with about $15,000 and a vehicle, and he might be able to see that property in about 6 months.
If anybody knows where it is, it's Mr. McIntosh. No one else has seen that vehicle. So we did get a good result, and he went to prison. Unfortunately, under our current sentencing guidelines, he'll see the parole board very quickly.
Well, let's hope that the victims were able to get some peace from this resolution.
I hope so, too.
Well, good work, Dan.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back soon with another case of the week.